Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome to episode number 202 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. So in a world where spirituality has become trendy and even extravagant, it is easy to believe that you don't have time, money, or resources for spiritual growth. Yet, what happens when we start living these lives that feel devoid of meaning or connection or inner peace? We realize that something is missing. So today's podcast on how spirituality is a necessity, not a luxury, will help you redefine what spirituality means to you and how to create a life where it is integrated, practical, and purposeful. So there are many reasons why people might perceive spirituality as a luxury, whether it is societal norms, your personal beliefs or experiences, or even very practical considerations. All of these can contribute to this idea that spirituality isn't necessary. And life has become increasingly fast-paced in nature. So if you're a professional or an achiever, you are often prioritizing meeting your financial needs, your family responsibilities, all of the work demands. So spending time in spiritual practices like going on a retreat or spending time in meditation, stillness, or even self-reflection can then seem like a luxury. And there are also financial costs associated with attending retreats or workshops and working with spiritual teachers or coaches. And if you're facing financial constraints, you might believe that these activities aren't necessary for your survival or even your well-being. And also, depending on your cultural background, there are norms of placing either more or less importance on spirituality. And certain cultures or societies have an idea that spirituality is more of a leisurely pursuit for those who have the time or the financial means or the privilege. And misconceptions about spirituality are also present. Sometimes people misunderstand spirituality as exotic retreats or these esoteric and extravagant practices. And this only reconfirms this perception that spirituality is impractical. It's indulgent in your everyday life. Achievers also have a focus on external achievements and often are part of societies or come from societies that place a lot of emphasis on external wealth, on job status, on material gains. So investing in your inner growth or your spiritual development is undervalued, or it's seen as less important when compared to tangible accomplishments or status symbols. You might care or feel that spirituality is important, but you feel like you shouldn't care or value it because people around you don't feel the same way. And this to me is similar to some of the work that gets more compensated in the financial world, for example, versus work in as a caregiver with children or early childhood development. Even though we feel that kids and their growth are so important, we don't always pay people that well in those spaces, or even the work of mothers, for example, and the burden that is there for them to take care of their families. So there's a lot of reasons why certain aspects of our lives are considered less outwardly valuable, even if internally we feel that they are so important. And there are also the realities of very urgent or immediate needs and practical realities of life that need to be addressed every single day. And when professionals and achievers are addressing personal crises, health issues, or financial instability, they often feel that these spiritual needs instead can take a back seat to their other pressing, urgent, tangible needs. And finally, you might have had limited exposure or experience with spirituality for many reasons. You might have never been exposed to a more authentic or accessible form of spirituality that can be integrated into daily life. And without that firsthand experience or understanding of how there are different forms of spirituality that can enhance your well-being, it will be perceived as a luxury or an irrelevant pursuit. And to add to that, certain spiritual communities might have also cultivated an image of exclusivity or an elitist image, which also inadvertently perpetuates this belief that spirituality is limited to those who are of the elite few or meet a certain criteria or they have very special access. Yet it is our job to not blindly follow, to question, and not to just accept everything that we've been exposed to, especially if it feels that it doesn't help your current life questions and concerns. It's important to understand that spirituality in its essence is a deeply personal and universal aspect of the human experience that goes beyond our socioeconomic or external circumstances. And while there are certain expressions of spirituality that might require resources or time commitments, the core principles of spirituality, like meaning, connection, inner peace, can be accessible. It can be beneficial to everyone, regardless of perceived luxuries. And when we buy into the belief that spirituality is a luxury, we reduce the benefits that we can receive right now. We reduce the amount of inner growth we can have, and that inner growth then becomes inaccessible unless we have copious amounts of time or money and resources to devote. And is it truly the case that spirituality is a luxury when you consider the spiritual achievers who are creating practical results while having more inner peace and more connection? Isn't it highly practical when our sense of meaning, our sense of connection and inner peace helps us get jobs that are purposeful, spend time on what we find meaningful, or gives us the resilience and the clarity to become leaders and members in our families and communities that are deeply present? Spiritual achievers have all the reasons to be stressed, overwhelmed, and stuck, but they're not avoiding life's most pressing challenges or work. They are in the daily challenges we all face, and they're doing it just slightly differently. And I realized that you cannot just disappear from hard situations to find relief and inner peace. I also realized that our experiences are full of highs and lows, and that we need the skills to be able to work with life, stress, failure, so that we can find new, innovative ways to work and live while also having a rich life experience, no matter how much time, money, or resources we have or do not have. And this is why I focus on spiritual high performance strategies in our coaching work together. It is the through line of growth. And when you realize that your inner growth and your spiritual development drive clarity and drive focus, you end up creating results in your external world that reflects your values and your ethics. So instead of being someone who just means well and has really good intentions, you're also someone who is executing, who's behaving in ways that reinforce who you are and what you believe. You no longer feel as misunderstood by those around you who feel that you might be challenging to work with, or that you might feel they're challenging to work with. And the mental chatter then in your mind reduces. Your relationships improve because you have more empathy, you have more compassion, you have deeper connection with others, and you have more meaningful and supportive relationships with your coworkers, your friends, and family. And all of this boosts your physical well-being. Your stress levels reduce, your resilience and your mental well-being increases as well. And you have more energy to give towards pressing concerns like financial or health needs. And you have then a laser focus on being able to put the time and the energy towards your most important concerns and decisions. And you become more resourced. You're creative, you're tapping into your intuition, you have more ideas to contribute to help solve problems at work and at home. And instead of replacing your work or diminishing the way that you spend your time by not fully being present, your spirituality will then enhance it instead. So imagine having a sense of clarity and focus come over your daily activities and tasks. And instead of a fog of outside noise or the inner critic inside all clouding over your decisions, you will have much more of this knowing, in the sense of, I know what I'm doing and I'm clear on what I don't know and what I'm figuring out right now. And instead of feeling stuck, you feel those inner shifts create those external results. You are more decisive. You act with authenticity, you act with authority, while you're experiencing much more internal peace and well-being. And you also stop placing excessive importance on material wealth, which can help you make better financial decisions. It helps you stop that cycle of incessant consumerism. And that shift in perspective can help you stop chasing the external validation and the eventual downfall of material wealth. It never fully satisfies you. So you finally are getting off that cycle of constantly chasing success through work alone. And you can continue to believe that your inner growth, that your spirituality are a luxury. That is something you can do. And you can find yourself presenting others who have created more inner peace and outer success. Or you can pursue spirituality in accessible, practical ways and have it enhance your well-being, your work-life balance, and feel the effects today. So if you believe in a world where we can have accessible, inclusive, and practical spirituality, you'll want to become a spiritual achiever, a living, breathing example of enriching and deepening your own human experience, no matter where you are coming from in life. So if you are curious about experiencing these results for yourself, I want to invite you to watch the free training on how to stand out and lead using high-performance spiritual strategies. You can go to www.mayemson.com/202 to get the link. And you can apply to join my Spiritual Achiever program, where you're going to create your next chapter with spiritual and high-performance strategies so that you can achieve peace, time, and financial freedom using my proven method. It is risk-free. You either start seeing results or I give you your money back. So schedule your first call here at mayemson.com/contact, and we will see you inside. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.